The sound of the front door closing behind him still echoes in my mind. It was sharp, final, like a gunshot in the middle of a quiet room. I never thought that a fight over something as stupid as coffee would be the trigger. But it wasn't really about coffee. Never is it? "Emma, are you really doing this?" Daniel had asked, his voice low, his knuckles white as he gripped the edge of the kitchen counter. "Yes," I snapped, though my heart thumped painfully in my chest. "I need space. You need to leave." His eyes searched mine for some shred of reason, some sign that this was just a flare-up of temper. But I didn't give him one. I turned away, my arms crossed, the smell of burnt coffee still hanging in the air like an accusation. And so, he packed a small bag and left. No shouting, no slammed doors, just that soft, defeated sigh before he closed the door behind him. The first few days felt like freedom. No arguments about little things. No quiet resentment over his late nights at work. I convinced myself that I needed this, that we both did. I even told my friends, "We're just taking a break. It's healthy." But the silence at night was suffocating. Our house, once warm with his humming in the kitchen or the low rumble of his laugh while he worked on his laptop, now felt like a museum. Sterile, cold, untouched. I told myself I wouldn't reach out first. But then about 2 weeks in, I saw something that made my stomach twist into knots. It was a Sunday morning. I was scrolling absent-mindedly through Instagram when a story popped up from a mutual friend. It was a photo, blurry, taken at some downtown cafe. I almost skipped past it, until my eyes caught the familiar slope of Daniel's shoulders. He was there, sitting across from someone. Woman. Blonde, slim, her hand brushing his as they both reached for the sugar jar at the same time. The caption read, "Cute couple alert." My heart stuttered. Cute couple. Oh, that was my husband. I stared at the picture, zooming in, analyzing every detail. The tilt of his smile, the way his body leaned slightly toward her. It wasn't just a casual coffee. He looked comfortable. Ease. My fingers trembled as I texted him. "Me, so this is what space means to you." He didn't reply. The days after that were a blur of anger and humiliation. I told myself I had pushed him away, but I hadn't given him permission to move on, had I? When he finally replied, it was late at night. "Daniel, Emma, it's not what you think. We just had coffee. I needed someone to talk to." "Just coffee." The words mocked me. Isn't that how all affairs start? A little coffee, a little comfort, and then the slow erosion of everything you've built. I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying our last conversation before he left. The fight over the coffee was stupid, yes, but beneath it had been months of quiet discontent. He worked late, I felt invisible, we snapped over little things because neither of us wanted to talk about the big ones. How distant we'd become, how lonely marriage had started to feel. But seeing him with her, that loneliness turned into something darker. A week later, he came by to pick up some clothes. I watched him from the doorway as he packed. His movements were slow, deliberate. He looked tired, older somehow. "Who is she?" asked finally. He froze, his hand lingering over a shirt. "Emma, don't lie to me. I saw the photo." His jaw tightened. "Her name's Claire. Is a coworker. We bumped into each other. At a cafe. Like a date." I cut in bitterly. His eyes flashed. "You told me to leave. You said you needed space. And now I'm the villain for talking to someone." The room went cold. I hated how reasonable he sounded. "I never said we were over," I whispered. "And I never said we were," he shot back, his voice suddenly sharp. "But you pushed me out, Emma. You slammed the door in my face and expected me to just wait." For a moment I wanted to tell him the truth, that I hadn't asked for space because of the coffee fight, or because of work, or even because of him. I had asked because I was scared. Scared that I didn't love him the way I used to. Scared that maybe, just maybe, I wanted to see if someone else could make me feel alive again. But I said nothing. 'Cause how could I? Over the next month, his texts grew fewer. His voice, when we spoke, was polite but distant. I heard her name slip in once. Claire said the same thing the other day. And my stomach churned. I realized too late what was happening. The space I had demanded had become a doorway, and someone else had stepped through it. It was a rainy Thursday when the truth finally punched me in the chest. I had driven past his office on a whim. Pathetic, I know. I told myself I just wanted to see him. But as I slowed at the light, I saw them. Daniel standing under the awning. His jacket draped over Claire's shoulders. She was laughing, her hand on his arm. His head tilted close to hers. It was the look on his face that broke me. Soft, warm, the way he used to look at me when I came home with wet hair and a bag of takeout. My hands gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. That night, I sat alone at the kitchen table, staring at the coffee machine that had started this whole mess. It wasn't the coffee. It was me. I had pushed him out because I wanted to feel powerful again. I wanted him to chase me, to miss me, to realize how much he needed me. Instead, I gave him a reason to find someone who didn't make him feel like an intruder in his own home. 2 days later he called. "Emma," he said softly. "I think we need to talk." I swallowed the lump in my throat. Are you leaving me?" There was a long pause. "I don't want to. But I can't keep doing this limbo. I need honesty. From both of us." So I told him everything. About how the fight wasn't really about coffee. About how I'd been restless, resentful, terrified of feeling stuck. About how I had wanted space not to fix us, but to see if I even wanted us. He listened, quietly. And when I finished, he said something I didn't expect. "Thank you for telling me." Then, after a long breath, "I met Claire because I was lonely, Emma. Not because I stopped loving you. But I can't be the only one fighting for this." We met at that same cafe a week later, the one from the photo. Seeing him there, sitting across from me instead of her, felt surreal. "I don't know how to fix this," I admitted, my voice cracking. "But I know I don't want to lose you over a stupid fight and my own pride." His eyes softened, but there was a weariness there too. "It's not just about the fight. It's about everything that led up to it." "I know," I whispered. "I'll go to counseling. I'll do whatever it takes." He was silent for a long time, then finally nodded. "One condition. No more games, Emma. No more pushing me away just to see if I'll come back." It's been 6 months since then. Some days are good. Some days feel like we're walking on cracked ice, careful not to break through. I still think about Claire sometimes. Wonder who she really was to him, if he ever thinks of her when I'm not looking. Trust is a fragile thing. You think it's solid until one bad decision, one careless word, one slammed door makes it crumble like dry leaves. But every morning now I make us both coffee. He sits at the table, scrolling through his emails, and I place his cup in front of him. We don't talk about that night much anymore. But sometimes, when his fingers brush mine over the handle of the cup, I feel a flicker of hope. Hope that love isn't just about never breaking. It's about choosing to rebuild, even when the cracks still show.